apologize up front. My voice is a little sore and hoarse. Need some more. Been sitting through that, listening. My name is Angela Luckey, and I reside at 4473 Harper's Ferry Drive in Grand Prairie, Texas. I have been a resident of Grand Prairie for 47 years. And I want to just make some statements and some comments. When I listened to the situation about the EXO Club, about Hip Hop Night, I graduated from South Grand Prairie High School. And for those that are familiar with Great Southwest, back in the 1980s, at the skating rink, we had what we call Hip Hop Night, and it was on a Sunday night. Black kids, Latino kids from all around the Metroplex would come to the city of Grand Prairie to the skating rink. Back in the 80s, there was a shooting at the skating rink. Dashae Cook from Dallas, Texas was murdered, killed. Skating rink never closed down. Skating rink is still open. When we take a look at past years, the shooting that happened at the skating rink with the Asian people that was there, that skating rink is still open. And then if you want to go further in Grand Prairie, when you look at Abrams, the Cowboy Club. So when we take a look at a lot of the issues that have happened at some of our areas where they have had hip hop or they have had country night for teenagers and so forth. But when you hear the club owner get up and from EXO and Ms. Carlos that got up, again, I think, and the owner of the establishment got up, they've all requested under the FOIA Act the records from the police department. Now, I did not hear anybody say that once they were denied the records, that we put in a request with the state attorney general to demand that those police reports or whatever records that Grand Prairie Police Chief Dye is referring to. There used to be a club called Joey Z's and Foxy's. We had people like Emmett Smith, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman. These people were literally coming to Grand Prairie, standing in line at Foxy's and Joey Z's, and these clubs were closed down. But again, on certain nights, they had what they call hip hop. Some of these clubs had the teenager night. When I heard about somebody smelled weed smoking, I was just over at the Verizon Center attending a concert. The Verizon is owned by the city of Grand Prairie. When you go to a concert trying to sit down, because I'm not a smoker, I smell more weed in the Verizon Center than I didn't smell in a whole year. And I make it known, people sitting there in the city suite smelling weed smoking. Nobody, no time, it was elected officials there, got up to go get no management, to go to the deck suite to find out who's smoking the weed. There was police presence on the outside, but at the same time, if we're concerned about criminal activities and weed smoking, we need to be inside of the Verizon too. Chief Dodd mentioned about show strong police forces. An area where there may be some crime activity. I'm concerned when they mentioned the police forces, as far as it being strong, has just disappeared and it has actually gone away. Now my concern is we have around about 400 to 700 youth, and if they got a teen night coming to Grand Prairie to dance, have a good time, why did the police presence go away if it's supposed to be that much criminal activity? Chief Dow also stated that he created these new programs since he became chief, where some of the people that live here can't speak English, and you have translators and so forth. If you got a problem with gangs in our city, why is the police running from them? Why is there no type of interaction with the gang members that he's claiming that we talked to the Arlington police and they said it was gang activity and gang activity coming into Grand Prairie? I live in the Westchester side of the community, and when you talk about burglaries, we have had burglaries where they said kids have ski masks on, and they refer to minority kids. My concern is when you close down activities, and it's not the people that's coming to enjoy, where do they go? Are they gonna come to our homes? Where do they go? I think that it's premature to revoke a SUP tonight. A lot of facts is just not being presented here tonight. 134 calls, 89 came from the police itself. 31 calls and 24 of them came after they had a meeting with Chief Dye, some people look at that as retaliation.
Yes.
You didn't have them before, but all of a sudden, after the meeting, all of these calls are coming in. This is not the city that I grew up in. If we're gonna allow police officers a racial profile, stop somebody because they're Latino or because they're black, get behind them because their music is too loud, this is not right. This is not right. I heard the attorney mention 1983 civil rights case. We don't want to have to file cases in the city of Grand Prairie on people's civil rights being violated. We are taxpayers. We don't want the police running from no gang members or nobody.
That's right.
Tonight, the police have not presented to this board, this commission, no evidence of any criminal activity taking place at that location.
That's correct.
So before we rush judgment, this commissioner rush judgment, I think it needs to be postponed and additional information needs to be provided. The question was asked to the chief, do you know of any other clubs in the city of Grand Prairie that have ever had his liquor license or the SUP revoked? And he stated no. I think Commissioner Mosier, you've been around Grand Prairie a long time, and most of you have. In Dalworth community used to be a club called the Spin-In. So if we go back and do our history and we take a look at minority business owners that have actually came in and operated clubs in minority neighborhoods like Dalworth, or even up there what we call the Hi-Ho area up there, because I grew up in Dalworth. You'll take a look and there's a history, yes, either minority club owners have been harassed or SUPs have been talked about being revoked and so forth. We're in the 21st century. The kids does not act the way that we act when I came up in South Grand Prairie. They're doing a different thing, but if Chief Dye knows that on Sunday nights, we're going to have 500 kids come to Grand Prairie, don't take the police away. Have a police presence there. Interact with the club owner. Because we don't want these kids out breaking into homes or doing anything wrong. And I do too agree with the comment that Carlos made. Nobody wants to be around any thugs. I think we're all upholding citizens. We want what's right and what's fair in Grand Prairie, but we need to do things according to the right way.
That's right.
Not just because we want to come in and close down because all of a sudden we got these minority kids coming on a Sunday. They need to have some place to go to.
That's right.
They do. Chief Dye came into Grand Prairie, he created this boxing program.
Ms. Luckey, wrap it up, please.
Okay, he created the boxing program. And he said it was to get the kids off the street to come into the gym to box, go to Vegas. The same attitude that he did with that, do it for the teens and college students. We got too many major universities around here. You know, let's listen to what these kids are saying that they want. And I take my seat at this time, but I do ask the commissioners to not rush judgment, to postpone this issue. Thank you.